Well, hello, hello, hello. How is everyone today on this beautiful Friday morning, November 18th? And you have tuned in into the Shanks Show. I hope you're doing great. I am going to talk a little bit about Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving spirit. Some people think that it is a sentiment, a feeling, a holiday that is not really all that worthy to look forward to because it comes with a lot of shallow, superficial moments. It comes with a lot of stress. It comes with a lot of families getting into fights. And I am really lucky to know that that is not at all the case for me. That is not at all how I have perceived Thanksgiving so far. Um, I think this idea of giving thanks and of inviting people to the table who might not have a community, a family, or friends with whom they want to spend Thanksgiving, I think that is a very important idea as we are really looking towards a recession. And it is going to be a very tough time for a lot of people. What is the reality? And I was talking with a few mentors who have a lot of insight into this yesterday. The reality is that the average American, and I should say the average citizen, because this is going to impact people all over the world, they don't have the true impacts of the recession have not arrived yet for a lot of you. And we are still kind of riding on that wave of money that was provided to us by the government through various systems that were supposed to help us, like such as the PPP loans, the idle loans, and all kinds of other programs, financial assistance programs. And some people may not realize yet how difficult the environment will be for everyone, really, because what that now with the recession coming for us, it really means that companies will have less income. And if companies have less income, one of the very first things they need to do is they need to take a close look at their costs. Anything that is a cost that they can reduce, they probably will have to do that in order to survive a recession. And that is why we are seeing now with the big tech companies that they are starting to lay people off. And make no mistake, that kind of wave will continue. It will trickle down to the smaller companies that rely on the tech giants to be thriving. And then, of course, when it hits smaller companies, it directly impacts the most people in America and throughout the world who are employed by such small companies. So in those times, I think it is extremely, extremely important to remember what the spirit of Thanksgiving is. Again, it is really, from my perspective, sharing and I'm not talking about the historical aspect of Thanksgiving because that is a very different one, of course. I'm talking about the one that I experienced as someone who came to the United States from Luxembourg, Europe, not having any bearings on what Thanksgiving is. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So for me, it is like looking at people who are not able to spend that day with relatives, loved ones, friends, and it is about people opening up their homes to specifically those people who would otherwise sit there and be alone on that day. Okay, so I'm going to tell you And by the way, that this is something, this concept of not letting you sit alone is something that I try to do with my company for all of you out there who need to really, because they maybe they were you were laid off, or you are in a situation where you just started a business and the income is just not really working all that great. What matters now is that you don't give up. You need to start and continue showing up online and showing people what you have to offer, showing companies what you have to offer. And you do that by creating content every day. Okay. And if this is something that you need a little bit of help with, I have a program that is absolutely free. You just go to shanks.vip, put that in your browser, it's blended in here. Oh, there, it's blended in there. And you just give me your email address and I'll send you a little bit of help every day. Okay. So again, for me, when I came in 2011, not having any notions of what Thanksgiving is about, I was at a university in Oxford, Ohio called Miami University with my first year. Didn't really know a lot of people. And what I noticed was that the locals, not even the university staff, but the locals who lived in and around Oxford started looking for those students who were a little bit stranded, if you will. And that was mostly international students, a lot of Chinese students there who absolutely were far removed from their families, and then also non traditional students. And I was definitely a non traditional student because I was there at the age of 28, being surrounded by a bunch of freshmen, having had a career for 10 years in law enforcement. And obviously, I was kind of in a different phase of my life, right? And I was not alone. There were also a lot of veterans who attended that university because they got a free or subsidized education because of their service. Totally deserved, by the way. And those veterans being there in the middle of cornfields with a bunch of college students who, for the most part, want to have a good time, um, they are there with all their baggage, with all their PTSD, with all their memories from war, right? And they can absolutely not relate to most of their student peers. And the local community saw that. They saw people like me, they saw internationals, and they saw veterans who struggled over during Thanksgiving with loneliness. And what happened was that we, as basically strangers to the local citizens of Oxford, were invited by people. They opened up their homes, and we got to spend the entire day with them, right? So, strangers opening up their homes to strangers, spending a day that follows a very specific agenda, which makes everyone kind of feel at home, okay, and feel together. And obviously, the food and the TV program you choose to watch, which I believe is mostly sports in most homes, that is the commonality that brings all the people together. And through the food and through the experiences on the TV, we kind of somehow feel that feeling that we have when we are at home with our relatives, our loved ones, our friends. Nowadays, there is this term, Friendsgiving, right? Which shows that there's a lot about a community that is tied to Thanksgiving. Although it has a historical meaning, right? And it has its origins in history, which I'm not going to go into that in this video. And again, I think it is very important that you also have that community online, that you also have that community on your journey through entrepreneurship. Because if you have recently started a business, or if you are thinking about starting a business in this time with the recession looming over our heads is going to be tough. I'm not going to say that you can't make it. Uh, I'm going to say that it is going to be difficult. It is difficult in normal economical times, right? But now is a moment again where interest rates are difficult for people. Real estate is difficult for people, and there's a lot of layoffs that are have happened and are about to happen. The cost of goods is at an all-time high too. Okay, so people will have a very close eye on their wallets. It's just they're going to be somewhat reluctant to spend money because they simply don't have it. Now, going back to the community, you can overcome that, but you need a community that keeps you, that keeps your focus on your end goal, and that also gives you a pep talk when it's needed, that gives you a warning when it's needed. And that is something I want to offer to you. If you go to shanks.vip, that is the lowest tier of what I even have. It's a daily email that you get from me. And make no mistake, that email makes a big difference because it tells you essentially, here's what matters today. Why don't you go and post about that on your social channels? And by doing so, you do one of the most fundamental things necessary right now, which is show a personal side of your brand. Okay, so even if you are a big business who does B2B, right now is the time to humanize your brand. And this is done by creating relevant, personable content every day, just the way I'm doing. I'm showing up for you, which is building up trust. Over time, you'll trust me because you know no matter what happens, I'm not going away. Okay? And you want to do the same for your network. So go to shanks.vip and take advantage of that free offering. I'll close this now. I have my own community to go to here very soon, and I will try to post some interesting and entertaining content over the weekend. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday. You all mean a lot to me, by the way. I know that some of you watch this live stream in real time, others just will catch the recording. And every single one of you who dedicates their precious time to spending with me online. I'm very grateful. All right. Make it an awesome, awesome weekend and think about whom you can invite to your table, even if it's a virtual table, so that they don't feel alone and that they get to enjoy, which is, in my opinion, what the true spirit of Thanksgiving. It's alive. It's there. Has not gone anywhere, but you need to make it be there by just being an awesome human being. All right. Bye for now.